If you are 30, 40, or maybe even 50 and you want to change your career because you feel stuck in a corporate rut, then this video is for you. Because in 2026, so many people want to change their careers or even need to change their careers that it has become a totally normal thing. You can even go over to Google Trends and check it out. Type in career change or even try the keyword career reinvention, and you'll see that the line goes totally flat over the last 15 years and out of a sudden it goes exponential just in the last 12 months. And that's because AI and mass layoffs have become a thing. And it's not going to be only now. So, looking into the future, changing careers will be a totally normal thing. And in this video, I explain the 3 factors that are important to successfully manage the career change and find a new career that you really love. So stick around until the end. To change your career successfully, you need only 4 steps. So the first step is to gain clarity. You need to be positioned clearly. Then you need to work on your mindset. Why that's important, we're diving into that also in this video. And the 4th thing is you need a concrete action plan that gives you guidance so you know exactly what to do and when to do it. And that alone takes away all of the scare of a career change. By the way, all of what I'm teaching here on YouTube, you will find all the tools and exercises and the coaching and the guidance and my direct feedback in the Mental Mastery Academy. It's my inner circle where I coach high performers, consultants, senior leaders to find meaningful careers that also pay well. So just check it out. You'll find the link down in the description. Because over the last 10 years, I've been coaching more than 360 high performers, consultants, and senior leaders, and the patterns are always repeating. So we're looking at the 4 steps right now. Ready? So the first step that holds back most of my clients from a career change is clarity. And clarity about what it is that they actually want to do if they leave their career now, what their unique strengths are that they are maybe not even applying in their current job and that they could step into in a different role in a different company or even in a different industry. Then what the topics are that excite them the most and that also have future potential, and also about their values. So what's important to them, what is meaningful in their life. And as soon as you have this clarity, what could be a great company? What could be a great next role? Maybe something completely different that you have never thought about, or you might have even been thinking about it, but you never dared trying growing to this kind of role. Then having those clarity takes away a lot of the scare, because how would you start a career change if you don't even know where the journey is taking you? So creating this clarity, that's one of the biggest things to start with. And I have more videos here on YouTube where you find exactly how to find this clarity, because there are several dimensions that are important to find this clarity. The next step is your positioning, because a career change is all about positioning. And my clients experience that firsthand because they already try to apply for different jobs in different industries, but they get rejected or they don't even get a response at all. And that's because their positioning is weak. So working on your positioning, that's the next important step, because most likely when you're approaching a career change, a lot of the reasoning and the storylining in your CV on your LinkedIn profile is going to dramatically change. How do you do that? There are three places in your CV where you can position yourself. First is a professional snapshot that comes on top. So that's just a brief overview, you in a nutshell, your experience and your strengths and your biggest achievements or results in a nutshell. So it's typically like 6 to 7 lines. So someone who sees your CV for the very first time instantly sees the value that you bring to that role. Then the second part where you can and need to position yourself, that is the name of your role. So that might be something like senior consultant, senior manager, very generic, or even a little bit more specific, senior manager, change management. And there you have some room for creative CV shaping. So, for example, you cannot change your senior manager position to a principal position. That would be stupid and frankly wrong and anti-ethical. But what you can do is use, for instance, your senior manager, because that's a position that you had, and be a little bit more creative on the topic. So, for example, on my own CV, I worked as a senior consultant change management, but I might want to apply for a different role that is adjacent. And out of the senior consultant change management, I change it to senior consultant organizational development, senior consultant leadership. All of that's possible. It changes instantly your positioning as long as it's true. Obviously, you need to have that experience. I can't say out of thin air, I've been senior consultant leadership and I haven't had anything to do with leadership topics. But if you do have that experience, that is important to take into account when you're positioning yourself. And then the third part is the description itself. And that's probably the part that will change the most. So, first of all, you should always lead with results and achievements. But I have a complete video on just that. And then you can change and position yourself in the results that you choose to show. You don't need to show everything that you achieved, but you strategically choose the results that translate into the role that you want to position yourself for. And then obviously also the role and responsibility, the tasks that you choose to show or not show. So that's the third part where you need to position yourself. Then there's the third part, and that's continuous development that really never stops, and it's about mindset. Why is mindset important when changing careers, you ask? Great question. Because most people, whenever change is coming to their life, then limiting beliefs are popping up in your mind to hold you back from changing anything and keeping everything just the way it is. Because that's the way how our brain works. Our brain doesn't like uncertainty. Our brain doesn't like fear. So it comes up with mechanisms to keep everything the way it is. And this mechanism is called limiting beliefs. You'll instantly recognize some of them. So a limiting belief could be, oh, at 40, it's too risky to change careers. Boom. Just like that. Okay, let's not try it. Or I don't want to throw away all of my former experience. Boom. You've worked so hard for where you are right now, right? Sounds totally logical. But you don't need to throw away your experience. You can build upon it. You can rearrange it. You can take some of the experience and prioritize it for your new career that you're changing. And then you're not throwing it away, but it's just the next, not so logical, but it's the next step that without that former experience, you wouldn't ever have gotten there. And you might something like, oh, I'm just too old to change a career at 30, at 40, at 50, at 60 even. My oldest client changed his career at 55. So it's never about the age. It's just this mechanism telling you to keep everything as is, to keep things safe and nice, predictable. But that might just hurt you even more because the world in 2026 and forward isn't that predictable anymore as it used to be 40 years ago, even 20 years ago. So, working on your mindset is really, really crucial so you can push through those limiting beliefs despite not having 100% clarity yet, but knowing you don't need to quit your job just right now, not having any opportunity lined up. So, what you actually want to do is say, oh, okay, limiting belief, I got that. That's my buddy's way of telling me I'm going out of my comfort zone, but I didn't quit my job, so there is no fear involved so far. Let me just be curious. Let me just see what's out there. And then there is the fourth part. And that is also very important because with all of those four parts, clarity, positioning, mindset, and the fourth part, the exit plan, you reduce uncertainty, you reduce fear. And the more you reduce it, the more confident you will also feel that a career change is the just next logical step for you to level up your life. So, what could a exit plan look like? It could be something like brainstorming roles, brainstorming companies, brainstorming industries, networking on LinkedIn, offline, reactivating your existing network, starting to talk people, but strategically. Then also, obviously, starting to apply for jobs. See how responses are going to be from companies if your positioning is working. Also, maybe you might want to save some extra money just to have a bigger buffer and reduce the uncertainty of leaving your current safe job that isn't so safe because out of a sudden there is a massive layoff and then you need to deal with the uncertainty anyway. But saving up some money might be a good idea because it creates confidence that you have some financial runway. So, whatever is happening, you can push through it and just apply for other jobs without having a financial risk. So, this exit plan, I can't give it to you right now. Those are some great ideas to start with, but when I work with my clients, every exit plan looks completely different. Some of them even start their own business. Again, completely different exit plan. So all of what we've been talking about today, you find all of the tools and my guidance and direct feedback inside the Mental Mastery Academy. You'll find the link down below. And if you feel really stuck in your career, but you can't pin it down, why? I have another video about the 5+1 dimensions that exactly show you in which dimension you're stuck. So just check it out right now. See you in the next video.